What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Marauders issue number 12. This is Pregenesis Part 2. The Pryde of the X-Men makes good. An origin story 2 billion years in the making as Captain Pryde and the Marauders go beyond rescue, beyond mourning, beyond human limitations for the most historic mutant circuit ever dreamed up. It started with a mystery, and it ends with life. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we have Brimstone Love and we have Fang that are going toe to toe. Off in the distance, we have Johnny D who is simply watching. Fang telling him to join in, to come and help him in this fight. Even Lockheed is a little bit upset that he's not getting in this. Johnny D saying maybe the squid in his chest might be Team Love, but Johnny D is still all in for Fang. So we're just seeing that Fang is still in the same position that he has been in. He is battling against Love. But more importantly in Genosha, that is where things are really kicking off. We have Polaris, who is creating the Mysterium box. This is the seed. From this and all of Threshold will come, with Thea telling her that she has created a holy moment. Her and Tempo holding hands. Tempo notices that she's been relatively quiet, but she finds herself overwhelmed since they came here. A mass craving her. They came here for aid, or at the very least to tell Threshold's story. They never dreamt that they would be starting it. And while they have this conversation, meanwhile, Kitty Pryde is having a conversation with her father, who just happens to be a ghost. Starting from the very beginning, letting him know everything that has transpired. And while she wasn't able to save her father, she now has a chance to not just make him proud, but turn the millions lost into billions born. To make this into a place of joy, imperfect or not, the DNA in the ground, human and mutant, it could spark a golden age. But it is not her choice to make, it is her father's. It is his choice and everyone who died here, showing him a map where it all started. They found it, impossibly old, with a message in her handwriting, saying the first blood spilled. They thought it was a failed genocide, but it could mean the blood they spilled to create Threshold. She thinks it means life. Her father saying that he likes the sound of it, but she got one thing wrong. It is not her handwriting, it is their handwriting. As he grabs her hand and he goes to write it down, telling her what happened here happened, but it is only over when they say it is. That they want another chance, they want another opportunity. As she turns over and she gives her father a hug, we are taken down to San Francisco. We have Cerebra, who seems to be helping some random stranger. And while she looks to be completely alone against Bushwhacker, a mutant who kills mutants, we see that a friend arrives to help out Cerebra. Psylocke has come up to let her know that she is needed. But beforehand, we learn of her new friend. And this new friend is a mutant. He has a mutant gift to find water. Now, this guy has no idea who Cerebra is. They have only met for like 7 minutes. This guy had only just recently made the news, so the others are curious on how Cerebra even knew about him. And while his gift is limited, it will grow with his bloodline. And in time, his great-grandson will be her North Star. Decades from now, he will be an Omega-class navigator, able to plot a course anywhere and anything. And together, they will lead the X-Men of 2099 to paradise. And so what Cerebra is doing is just making sure that the bloodline of her fellow patriots, her comrades, her X-Men in arms, she is making sure that their bloodlines are sufficient and they make it to 2099 to offer them a little bit of protection. This is her way of being connected to those that she left behind. As we pick up with Johnny D, Fang, and Love, we see that Fang has pulled off one of the horns of Love, broke that thing clean the freak off, and he has given it to Johnny D. With this, Johnny D was able to create just a little gift, a little voodoo doll that allows him to control the original. With Johnny D handing over that little voodoo doll to Fang, Fang throws it up in the air and Lockheed sets it aflame. This is where we see Brimstone Love just completely incinerate. As we jump back over to Genosha, they are creating the mutant circuit, starting with Polaris, and then Cerebra, ready to read and input local genetics. Having Wicked getting the ectoplasmic medium ready to receive DNA. Having Tempo readying that medium so that they can travel. And then Thea, ready to hyper-compress their enriched ectoplasm. And this is where we see the giant helix that is erected. As Kitty Pryde takes that note and she puts it into that Mysterium box. They are about to get started. With a giant light coming out of that box, it snaps closed. Everything poured into it, ready to be planted, ready for it to be the seed. We see them thrown all the way back 2 billion years ago, before Threshold ever existed. She takes that Mysterium box and she plants it into what will be the birthing sea. And she says the Krakoan laws: respect this sacred land, murder no man, and make more mutants. That's what picks us up sometime later now that Kitty Pryde has returned back to her own time. She is having a conversation with Emma Frost, because Emma Frost is the one that led her down this path to begin with, never knowing what it would inevitably lead to. The two of them are having a toast. They have just secured Threshold and Mutantkind, but Emma Frost never told us why. What inspiration, what nudge, what emotional presence made her want to do this. Like Exodus's favorite, as she walked through the garden, she came upon an epiphany. Not her first. This was a vision that she could not shake. The whole island a garden, and she was in the grove. Regardless of that, tonight is for everybody. Tonight is for the Marauders crew. It is for Mutantkind. It is for Threshold. And so is tomorrow. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, the Marauders line has been a little difficult to follow just because of all the time travel, bringing people back 2 billion years ago versus now versus the future versus Cerebra coming from 2099. There's just so much going on in this comic. So you really have to slow down, you have to take it page by page, you really have to understand what is going on. And what is happening is that Mutantkind, humans, we all existed. They learned about Threshold believing that that was the first mutant civilization, or at least that is what they believed. But eventually the information came forward that Threshold wasn't the first mutant nation, that Krakoa, the XMen, they are all the first mutant nation, that Threshold technically comes second even though it is 2 billion years ago. And that is because of what just happened in the last issue and this issue. This is Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, because Threshold could not exist without Mutantkind. There would be no civilization 2 billion years ago. The groundwork for that would have never been laid. And who knows what mutant society would be today if Threshold had not existed 2 billion years ago. And the same goes the other way. But from Genosha, 2 billion lives are born. An entire civilization, an entire society, more or less being able to be brought back. While Genosha was such a heavy loss, the birth of Threshold, it gives hope for the future. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with Marauders. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by supporting the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.